All right, I'd like to call our July 8, 2020 meeting of Seven Hills Planning Commission agenda to order. Would you please call the roll, please?
Ed Foley.
Here.
David Spaulding.
Here.
Terry McCafferty.
Here.
Jeff Bezos.
Here.
Pete Bodie.
Here.
Engineer. Building Commissioner Grassi. Councilman Liaison Snitsky.
Here.
And Assistant Law Director Tobin. Here.
Okay, I'd like you to ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. We've done the roll call. Are there any communications this evening that we're aware of? Don't believe so. Okay. I'd like to turn our attention to the minutes from our January 15, 2020 meeting. I think we've all read them. I will entertain a motion to accept them.
Mr. Chairman, this is Terry McCafferty. I move to accept the minutes.
Okay, it's been so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bodie. Would you please call the roll, please?
Foley.
Yes.
Spaulding.
Yes.
McCafferty.
Yes.
Bezos.
Yes.
Bodie.
Yes.
Thank you. Turning our attention now to the unfinished business action register review. Kind of put in contingency. The last thing that we talked about at our meeting, we did take a vote that we did not vote in an affirmative for regarding the whole issue of storage sheds. My understanding is that we sent a report back to council for them to consider maybe thinking about this from a little different angle, and that has generated some more conversation. So at this point, that movement is on hold. And so I just would like to give that update from our action register. Not to say that that wouldn't come back again, but maybe our feedback could be incorporated and we can have more conversation if it did. But for right now, our understanding is that that's not moving forward. Okay, I think with that, I'm going to jump right to number 7, which is our new business. We've had a healthy conversation, I think, in the work session regarding the specific items that are referred to in Ordinance 49, 2020 and 50, 2020. Do we have any discussion on that before we proceed? So the first ordinance we have, Ordinance 49, 2020, would allow for fast food to exist in Zone 2 of the Broadview Road Development District by taking it out of a prohibited use. Do we have anyone that would feel to move that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Terry McCafferty, I move to, what are we doing, a referral? Planning Commission referral, positive referral to council.
So Ordinance 4920 has been moved. Does it have a second?
This is Jeff Bezos. I second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, would you please call the roll?
Foley.
Yes.
Spaulding.
Yes.
McCafferty.
Yes.
Bezos.
Yes.
Bodie.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. And then the book-in ordinance related to that would be that if we recommend that back, refer that in a positive way back to council, then it would be something that would be referred to the voters for their consideration. So Ordinance 50, 2020 would suggest that. Is there any motion in that regard?
Mr. Chairman, this is Terry McCafferty. I move to have a positive referral to council on 50, 2020.
Okay, it's so moved. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay, second by Mr. Bodie. Any discussion? Okay, there being none, please call the roll.
Ed Foley.
Yes.
David Spaulding.
Yes.
Terry McCafferty.
Yes.
Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Pete Bodie.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So the referral from council to council on Ordinance 50, 2020 also will go forward in the affirmative. So we'll be drafting a report. Law director and I, assistant law director and I will be drafting that report. So so that can go over to council. Move on now to comments from planning commission members. We can start from my left this time. Anybody got any comments you'd like to make?
This is David Sporer. I'm just glad to see everybody in these strange and difficult times, and it appears that everybody is healthy and doing relatively well. So I'm pleased to see that, and I hope that people's good fortune continues.
Well said.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to echo that. It's good to see everybody and good to know that we're all kind of moving along.
Good to see people. Okay, how about on this end? Any comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say, kind of in regards to the business that we had today, it's nice to see the continued investment in the community and one of our neighbors looking to really improve and kind of progress the community.
Very good. Good comment. Basil, anything?
I think I would just echo that. I think this kind of seems like the ideal spot for that kind of business, and especially if they want to stay where they are here in
Yeah.
Seven Hills. So it seems like a perfect opportunity for both sides.
Very good. Good comment. Council liaison, you have any comment you want to make?
Yes, I just said I'd see everybody's healthy too. I know that there are some people in the city that are not, but it could be thanks to our fire police department. I don't know how long some of you live in the city, but I've lived in the city since like the '70s. And we used to walk, I live on a hillside, we used to walk to Dairy Queen. And we walked without ever walking down the street. We used to cut through the woods. The only other thing from Hillside to Pleasant Valley, you had a gas station on the corner, and you had bowling alley and Seven Hills Tavern. There was nothing else there. So we used to walk through the woods to the Dairy Queen, and they have been in this city, and they are a contributor to the city. They contribute to a lot of different events over the years, and they continue to do that. They have the best cake business, the ice cream cake business I've learned in the region. The Seven Hills Dairy Queen has the biggest ice cream cake business in the region. So they're very committed to the city, they're very committed to the area. And it's nice to see that they are going to stay, going to expand. And, nothing like being able to look for a long-term business resident that wants to, again, invest and continue to grow the city. So
Well said.
everybody stay healthy, we'll see you next month.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, if anybody hasn't been by the Meyer property recently, you'd be surprised
Oh, yeah.
how fast that's moving along.
It's
Walls are up,
kind of amazing.
and there's a lot of excitement about that Meyer project, you know, around the community and people that you talk to. And so
good one.
it's good to see in the city, and that it's huge for Seven Hills. That particular development is just huge. So
Very
it's a
good.
good thing. And this is huge too. Dairy Queen, I'm glad they're going to have a grill because I lived on Tuxedo up in Parma, and they tore that Dairy Queen down where the CVS is.
Yeah, I remember
But
that.
they got the best hamburgers, I'm telling you.
So there's a ringing endorsement. I love it.
Joe and Grill.
Couple of comments that I'll make. I really do appreciate your comments about being glad we see each other, because I think in the world we're living in today that we kind of take that for granted. And I'm just, I'm like a lot of people, I have to work out of my basement in my office, and getting out and talking and being around people under any conditions. I'll sanitize, I'll wear my mask, I'll do whatever I got to do. I just want to be around people once in a while, So this is certainly an enjoyable event for me. And you've all reflected on that, so I think that's, I couldn't say it better. Second thing I want to say is that I appreciate, and I'm not going to put, our assistant law director is a very close partner to the planning commission, and she's a real good person to work with. She's very thorough, and she's timely, and she's responsive, and she's been a good partner for us on a number of things. And then we can't take those things for granted. I mean, we have a good working relationship, and she's a pleasure to work with. So when we do our work and we know it fits into a timeline that she's laid out, it makes the process work. And I think that kind of teamwork, in a small part-time city, we sometimes forget how important that type of teamwork is, and it really is. So I appreciate that immensely. And the comments you made about Dairy Queen, I think are appropriate. Some of the things I have said are just what you've said. Long-time business, wants to stay in the city. What a compliment. I think that's a high compliment to say I'm looking at all the options I have to stay here first. You know, I think that's a great thing. And the other thing, when we met with their corporate person, they really believe, as a council liaison said, they sell more cakes out of here than anywhere. They believe this is the greatest spot for a Dairy Queen. And so if that's the case, that's probably why they're successful in their very meager accommodations right now. Well, maybe they'll even more so because they're anticipating a doubling of their payroll, and you know, they are anticipating much greater success in their new endeavor. The other thing that I'd say is that you know, we don't want blight in the city. So whenever we have something that's vacant that we can redevelop, like Myers was the big one, but this is much smaller, but it still takes away a rather blighted-looking area, and we'll replace it with something new. So there's high value in that to the city. And I also think it's important when you look at redevelopment that you have something that you believe will work, and it will be there for a long time. And I think there's a real good likelihood that Dairy Queen has a formula that can win over time. And you're not left with the revolving door of things that go in and out. So I factor that very heavily into what they've proposed as well. So we talked about Myers briefly. We know that there's a lot of good things going on there. I'll tell you, as it relates to Rockside Road, the only comment I'll make is I've had a couple of points of contact, but I can't tell you that I am involved with great movement right now. I don't exactly know where we're going from here, but there are things moving, and I hope to be able to figure more of that out as we go along. I've had contact with the Fairmount folks one time, and I am aware of some of the things that, resources that they're trying to bring in to figure out what they're going to do with the property. So we know how important that is to the city, but it has to be done properly. And I'll just make the note of the fact our preliminary approval expires in December of this year. So, I mean, that's how long we've been working at this. So we have to be on guard and ready for figuring out where that project is going. And I think we're up to the task that we're going to make sure that all the things that we made sure were in place in the preliminary approval that we granted, we're going to make sure that those things aren't lost in wherever it goes from here, right? We'll do our job. Okay, that being said, I will entertain probably one of our important motions, the motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, this is Terry McCafferty. I move to adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn. Is there a second?
This is Jeff Bezos, second motion.
Second's been made by Jeff Bezos. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Stover?
Yes.
Mr. McCafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Basil?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Good meeting.